Okay, how about now? Am I audible now? Is it still not audible? What's wrong? Fine now. Okay. Okay. So sorry, there was some issue with the headset, uh, but I'm not sure what has happened. That's fine. We are good now. There are over 150 participants. Okay. Thanks everyone for confirming that I'm audible. First of all, Happy New Year for everyone who has joined. So yeah, I know it's early to say Happy New Year, advance Happy New Year. So this will be the last live for the year, and so basically, I have scheduled this live to discuss anything that you have to that you want to ask me. So we can discuss anything. There is no particular agenda for today. Just we can also talk about the DevOps market in 2023 and how is it going to be in 2024. It can be a very casual discussion. I'll take a look at the chat section and answer your questions. So I'll wait for your questions. Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. And how was the three-tier architecture project? Were you able to get hands-on to it? So it took a lot of time for me to implement that project, and I think it was like I started 7 a.m. Yesterday, and by the time I was able to complete that recording and get up, it was almost like 12 o'clock. So I think I spent 6 hours on that entire recording, editing, and uploading part. Okay, in Japan, 50 minutes left for New Year. Oh, that's awesome, OP gamers. So for you, advance Happy New Year. I think by the time we end this live, probably you'll also be celebrating uh, New Year. It's really good, but I'm facing one issue while executing Helm. Okay, what is the issue? Helm, I think it's pretty straightforward because I have shared the Helm chat as well. So yeah, probably you can ask what is wrong there. Okay, I'll answer the questions. Before that, talking about the CI/CD pipeline for the three-tier architecture. So basically, the project that we did, it has multiple microservices, right? So it cannot have one CI/CD pipeline. If you take about the ideal scenario, basically this project will have multiple CI/CD pipelines. Like catalog will have a different CI/CD pipeline. Each and everything will have a different pipeline. So one application is in Python, other application is in Java. So what you can do is try the CI/CD pipeline from your end. If you are still not able to do it, I'll definitely do that. But all the Docker files are already shared with you. The source code is available in GitHub. If you are using Jenkins or GitHub Actions, it should be very easy to implement the CI/CD pipeline. Usually, the tricky part would be how to write the Docker file and how to build that application. Because you already have it, you can take our ultimate CI/CD pipeline as reference and you should try it. And that's what happens when you join a company as well, right? So you should first try by yourself, and if you are not getting how to do it, and you also have references, right? Ultimate CI/CD pipeline video on the channel is a complicated one or a complex one, and it explains everything. You can just watch that video, come to this particular video, and start with the Java microservice itself. So it should be very easy for you to implement. What will be the scope of DevOps hiring in 2024? So Kumar has asked this question. Perfect. So 2024, I am expecting the market to be back. Basically, if you look at 2023, the problem is not at all with DevOps market. In 2023, the problem is with almost every stream that you look at. If you look at people in Salesforce, the other day I was talking to one of our subscribers, and he has someone in the Salesforce domain. There are no openings from last 8 months. I mean, they were not getting any calls from last 8 months. And similarly with full stack development, also AIML space, I think full stack at least has some opportunities, but AIML or Salesforce, SAP, in terms of freshers, they don't have any opportunities in 2023, like very less, very few opportunities. I think it's not right to say any opportunity, but they have very less opportunities. DevOps was also the same. Unfortunately for freshers, there were less openings in 2023 because of market. They were not ready. Market was not ready to invest in freshers. 2024, I'm hoping the situation to be normal. Hi Uday. Roop Teja is asking AI replace DevOps. So I discussed about this a lot of times, and let me tell one more time also. So basically, whether you're talking about generative AI or whether you're talking about traditional AI, please understand one thing: all of these things depends on data. The accuracy of these things will be more when data is available more. DevOps is relatively new when compared to full stack development or any other space. If you look at or consider tools like Argo CD, right, there very less documentation that is available. Even if you write your own GPT model or whatever you do, the precision of artificial intelligence or the output will not be so accurate as full stack. You ask ChatGPT a Python program and you ask ChatGPT to perform a DevOps task. You can understand yourself which one has more amount of accuracy. Definitely Python script because of the data that is available, right? Or because of how much information is fed to these tools. So that's why uh, AI will not replace any of the sector. Like even if you look at full stack development or anything, AI will not replace completely, but people will start using DevOps AI in their space. Like when we started using IDEs like Visual Studio Code, previously people used to write it in Notepad. Now, with the help of IDE, everyone is writing better code, or the time taken for writing a particular program is reduced. Same happens with AI as well. And talking about the impact, DevOps will have very less impact compared to other ones. Obviously, there will be impact, but impact will be less. Let me pick up this question. Sir, I'm totally beginner to DevOps. This is from Team One Shot. I'm in fourth sem of my college. Can you tell me that your zero to hero DevOps playlist is enough if I want to start studying DevOps? Also, can I get internship? Perfect. So, DevOps zero to hero will be a very good start because there we discussed DevOps right from zero. One thing that I would say is also try to take a look at the AWS zero to hero playlist so that you know DevOps and one cloud platform. Because you are a fresher, you are in your fourth semester, you don't have to become expert in all the concepts that I've explained in DevOps Zero to Hero and AWS. Try to make sure you understand all the concepts in DevOps Zero to Hero and just watch the AWS Zero to Hero to whatever extent you understand it. Try to understand, if possible, do some projects. And talking about your internship, if you complete both of those playlists, I think you will be very eligible for the internship. And in 2023, there are few people who were able to crack internships and also placements from their fourth year as freshers. So yeah, answer would be yes. Hmm. Bhaiya, I am in second year BTech. Should I choose cloud and in terms of job market as a fresher? Cloud, DevOps, SRE, these are going to play very critical role, right? In future, we'll always be talking about scalable and available, highly available applications. And DevOps and cloud engineers will play great role in this aspect, right? So with the advancement of AI, all of these things, writing code becomes very simple. And once writing code becomes simple, the complete game of the applications would be how you make these applications more scalable, right? How you make these applications available to large number of people, and that's where DevOps and cloud engineers will be playing very critical role. So if you are choosing DevOps and cloud at this point of at this point of time in your career, it will definitely help. Okay, let me move up and pick some questions. Okay, I am picking up questions that will help all of you. I'm working as an employee in non-IT field and I'm currently learning DevOps from your classes. Can you suggest a path for me? Yeah, definitely. See, if you are starting with the channel, please watch my 2024 roadmap. And if I have to just repeat, start with DevOps Zero to Hero, move to AWS Zero to Hero, then Terraform Zero to Hero has advanced Terraform concepts, and finally Python, so that you become an expert in the scripting language as well. And as a DevOps engineer, you will not have any, a lot of DevOps engineers don't have knowledge with scripting. So by learning Python, you will also have that edge over other DevOps engineers. So everything is available. You can just start with these playlists. Okay. There is one question. I think a lot of people are asking about this. So I thought I'll also talk about this. Abhishek, can I connect with you for career guidance? If yes, please let me know how. So I was on TopMate till November, I guess. And the problem is that TopMate, when I open the slots, TopMate is getting booked for next 2 months. And it becomes totally out of my control. Like let's say today I open TopMate. From the past experience that I have, what I have noticed is the slots will be booked up till January, February, and the problem is that a lot of people book these slots, and I try to help them. And end of the day, if I take a look at number of people that I'm helping, probably every day I help two people, and towards like if you count 2 months of time, then I'll be only helping 30-40 people, and a lot of you people are asking about it. So that's why I stopped TopMate and I'm looking for other options. It's not that I want to completely stop the medium of talking to subscribers directly. One way that I have figured out is the channel membership, because using channel membership I can help a lot of people. So that's why I started a dedicated Telegram group. There are good number of people on the Telegram group at this point of time. It's not the public Telegram group that I have. There is another one. When you click on the join button, you get access to a dedicated Telegram group where people can ask questions. Like let's say you are implementing the three-tier architecture and you are stuck somewhere. So if I'm available, I'll try to help. Or else there are multiple other people who are implementing projects along with you. So they will also try to help. So that medium is active, and the TopMate one is currently not active because, like I told you, through TopMate, I'm not able to help a lot of people. So I'll try to see what I can do. One thing that I'm thinking is reduce the time. Previously, we were doing 30 minutes of TopMate. Probably reduce it to 20 minutes or 15 minutes. I'm still thinking about it, but right now TopMate is closed. I'm not doing TopMate at this point of time. Last one that I did was in November, and like I told you, the slots are getting booked. So if I open TopMate at this point of time, I need to have a clear strategy what I want to do, or else next 2 months slots will be booked and others will be helpless. So when I open TopMate one more time, I'll make sure that it helps a lot of people. If you have any suggestions, you also can share, like probably multiple people joining at once or anything that you can think of. You can also help me with that. Let's see the chat section. And if anyone of you wants to know more about that dedicated Telegram group, you can just click the join button and you will understand. Why DevOps tools are important for data engineer? Okay. Okay. Another question. AWS or GCP, which is in demand? AWS is in demand. Straightforward. You can also check the trend. AWS, Azure, GCP. This is the trend at this point of time. Many people are asking about GCP. See, I don't want to bluff around. I'll tell you the honest answer. GCP does not have a large amount of market share at this point of time. Some companies might be moving to GCP, but that doesn't mean that GCP has that graph which Azure or AWS is seeing at this point of time. GCP adoption might be there, but if you are a fresher or if you are entering into the DevOps stream, why would you enter into a technology where the opportunities are less? See, you might be saying that Abhishek, competition is also less. Yes, competition is less, opportunities are also less. So you might get less number of calls if you are picking up GCP. If you are that confident that when the opportunities are less, I'll prepare GCP very well, and you know I might get only 1 or 2 calls per week and I'll still crack it, then yeah, you can go for it. But if you are expecting more number of calls, and if you feel that I'm new to the DevOps stream, I need more time, I need to face more interviews so that I become more confident, then try with AWS or Azure. Hmm. New technologies to learn with respect to DevOps in 2024. Okay, good question. One thing that I would suggest is progressive delivery is one that might see a huge amount of adoption in 2024. Like 2023, I have introduced Argo CD to a lot of people. Before, I think I made videos on Argo CD. Very less people were talking about it, and it happened for good. The adoption of Argo CD went high, and a lot of people are using Argo CD for their proof of concepts, projects, and a lot of companies are also adopting Argo CD, which is good. Same way, I think 2024 progressive delivery, the concept of Argo rollouts, where I've explained that in one of the video very roughly. I'll try to make a video on that where progressive delivery helps companies to deploy infrastructure or to deploy applications using blue green or advanced deployments with zero downtime. And there are many advantages of progressive delivery. So I'll talk about that. But if you're asking about one new technology, that comes to my mind. Okay. Again, are there? I answered about job openings in 2024. Relation between MuleSoft and DevOps. MuleSoft is just one. Like, how do I say relation? Like, MuleSoft will be used by some companies, and yeah, I mean there is no relation as such. Like, if your product is using MuleSoft, then you will integrate MuleSoft with the DevOps pipelines that you are writing, or any automation that you want to do. That's it. Okay, one interesting question. A lot of people also ask these kind of things. How is cloud engineering versus DevOps different? There is no difference. Previously, there used to be difference when on-premise infrastructure was quite largely used. But these days, if you see, many companies move towards the public cloud, and startups, they don't have an option. Mostly they start with public cloud. There are only few sectors like the finance sector, or some companies have, or in some regions there is government restrictions for storing the data in their own premises. So, but other than that, a lot of people are moving towards, or a lot of people are already on public cloud. There is cloud repatriation, where less number of people till now have moved from public cloud to on premises, because they were not able to use, or they felt that public cloud is not that cost efficient, and they also have seen some security concerns with the public cloud. The concerns might be true, but number of companies moving from public cloud to private cloud are less. I will be talking only about at this point of time. In future, I don't know how it is going to be, but at this point of time, there are more number of companies in the public cloud. So there is nothing as cloud engineer versus DevOps engineer. When your infrastructure is on cloud, everything that you do is on cloud. So you are either called as DevOps engineer or called as cloud engineer. That's it. Okay, question for freshers. A lot of freshers keep asking this question. Is DSA important for DevOps engineers? Always think of one thing. I told this in the previous videos as well. I'm repeating it. Whenever something of this comes to your mind, is DSA important? Is programming important? Is Golang important? There are two types of categories. One is must have, Other is good to have. Try to fit DevOps tools into these categories. For example, Kubernetes is must have. CI/CD is must have. Ansible is must have. Terraform is must have. Linux, Git, shell scripting, these are must haves. Then you have good to have. There is no end for good to have categories, right? DSA is good to have. Good programming is good to have. There are a lot of things that fall into the good to have category. So if you complete all the must have things, then you go to the good to have things, right? Today you can also learn Rust. Nobody is stopping you, and that might also help you some or the other way as a DevOps engineer. But first complete the must have categories. Now coming to DSA, as a DevOps engineer you don't use data structures, but for some companies like Amazon or Netflix, these kind of companies, they have basically the man companies, right? Fang man, they have the interview process where DSA is asked, irrespective of the DevOps engineer, full stack developer. They have a standard interview procedure. So as part of that, they ask DSA related questions, right? So if you are preparing for those companies, then it falls into the good to have category. Or if you only want to get into those companies, then it's a must have for you. So yeah, whenever you get these kind of questions, think about good to have and must have. If you complete all the good to have things, like when you feel that I have completely learned the good to have things, then go with these things, right? Okay, there is a super chat from Rohit Kumar. First of all, thanks Rohit for contributing to the channel. Now let's take a look at your question. I'm into manual testing from the past 8 years. Now want to switch to cloud, but don't have any coding skills. Can I go to cloud admin side? What are the job scopes for cloud admin? Please suggest. Okay. See, manual testing, you are trying to move away from manual testing because there are less number of opportunities for manual testing. Now, if you move to cloud admin, the same thing, you might see the same thing after a couple of years, because cloud admin, you right now have very less opportunities and very less companies have such thing called cloud admin, right? Most of the companies, they recruit DevOps engineer and they want people to have knowledge on the cloud. They want people to have knowledge on the DevOps and the administration part, right? So better focus on the DevOps engineer or cloud engineer, whatever the company would call. But I would not recommend cloud admin, right? You might be looking at cloud admin because there are less number of things to learn from the administrator point of view, or you might have thought that, or someone must have guided you that cloud admin just takes care of administrative part, adding users, removing users, or granting permissions, IAM kind of thing. But that role will not sustain for a long time. So please don't look for such kind of things, Rohit. Better look for roles, because you also have 8 years experience. And when you try to transition, cloud admin might have less learning curve, and you will also have less interview opportunities. But let's say you are even clearing the interview, and let's say you sit in the cloud admin role in a company, but after a few years you will start looking at career transition one more time. So better don't do that. Start looking for areas where uh, the stream that you're looking at has good growth, such as DevOps engineer. You can become SRE, or you can become um, any other thing like data engineer or something. But if you feel DevOps is something that excites you, then go with DevOps and cloud, so that you don't have to look for career transition at least for next 5 to 10 years. I hope I have answered your question. In a nutshell, if I have to explain, I will not recommend cloud admin role. Okay, let's take a look at any other questions. Entertainment has a question. Hi, few of my friends are losing jobs. They are saying lack project. I think lack of project or recession. Due to that reason, I am getting fear to start my career transition from non-IT to IT. Okay, see, entertainment, this is part of the IT field itself, right? So it is dependent on a lot of things, and you never know when is the recession going to come. So right now, I will not say in India there is a recession. If you look at US or Europe market, there are a lot of people who lost jobs, or the market is not good. They are not hiring more engineers. There are no salary hikes. In India, the situation is far far better. There might be some iterations, or there might be a few people who have lost jobs, but compared to other parts of the world, India is still in the safe hands, and a lot of companies are trying to get rid of employees in US and Europe, and they are building their own data centers. They are building their own uh, setup in India region, and they are recruiting more number of people. So in India, there is not that big problem when compared to other regions. And if you want to move from non-IT to IT, understand that this stream is basically dependent on a lot of things. So you never know if there will be recession in next couple of years, 3 years, 4 years. One thing that you can do from your point of view, become a good DevOps engineer, good full stack developer, so that these things will not impact you a lot, right? Sai Ranga, how to gain real time knowledge in DevOps if we're switching to DevOps domain? Okay, so just do the projects. For example, yesterday I posted a three-tier architecture. Right? That's a real-time project. We deployed a e-commerce application that sells robots. By doing such projects, you can showcase that in your resume. And let's say you implemented that project. Then you can relate that to any e-commerce website that you're using. Let's say you're working in Amazon in the non-IT space. Okay. Let's say you're working for Amazon, but not as a DevOps engineer, but you're working as a non-IT engineer. You might be doing something related to the business. And if you want to switch to the DevOps stream, you can do that project. And during your interviews, you can say that I have worked, or I have experience as a DevOps engineer. And if someone asks you about the project, you can talk about the e-commerce project that I've done, right? So that's how you can gain experience by doing projects. And there are a lot of projects that can help you on this channel. There are a lot of projects. By doing those projects, you can show the practical experience. Okay, I've answered question related to job openings in 2024, but again, a lot of people are asking about it. So my take would be, or how I see job market in 2024, I feel it will be much better than what we saw in 2023. The market was not good for freshers. Apart from that, market was open for lot of other people. Personally, I have created a profile on Naukri for one person, and from that time, I think it was a month ago. From that time to now, this person for whom I've created resume in Naukri got 50 to 60 interview calls. Of course, person has experience, 5 years experience if I recollect it right. But for freshers, the market was not good in 2023. I'm hoping the market will be good in 2024. Maybe February, March, when companies' financial year starts, they might want to invest more in DevOps, and yeah, so I'm hoping that happens. Okay, there is again couple of super chats. Let me open that. Where is this? Yep. So first of all, thank you, Nissan. And Nissan's question is, sir, 23 grad, 2023 grad. Okay, 2 year career gap after 12th, no work experience. Have worked with Azure, GCP, and Terraform. Your playlist made me realize I'm learning in the wrong order. Okay. How can I manage time and justify the gap in interviews? Please advise. Okay. So you have 2 years career gap after 12th. Okay. That shouldn't matter. It's okay. Organizations will not be bothered about that as much as they would bother for a candidate who has career gap after their graduation. So you have the career gap after your 12th. So you can say that whatever your reason is, let's say your reason is because of some medical reasons or some family reasons. I'm sure people would agree to that. And to be very honest, that shouldn't impact you a lot. As far as I've seen the market, don't bother about that. You can justify with a valid thing. First of all, when someone looks at your resume, that's not the thing that they would see. If you have a career gap after your graduation, or if you have a career gap after working for 2 years, you took career gap for preparing for higher studies, then that would impact more. But this one, it's okay. Now, your question is, I have worked with Azure, GCP, and Terraform. I'm assuming you learned it through some channels or somewhere. Your playlist made me realize that I'm learning in the wrong order. That's fine. Thing is, do not start with the cloud platform, right? The only thing that you need to know is how to spin up a virtual machine, because a lot of people don't have Mac, right? A lot of people have these things called uh, different laptops like Windows. So for them, it's difficult to perform a lot of DevOps tasks. So if you already have a Mac, then you can freely start with the DevOps Zero to Hero playlist on the channel. Let's say you don't have Mac. Only thing that you need to know is how to spin up a virtual machine. That also I have covered on the DevOps Zero to Hero playlist. So start with DevOps Zero to Hero, not the cloud platform, because cloud is a completely different concept. If you start with cloud, let's say you start with my DevOps Zero to Hero, right? The problem is that, sorry, my AWS Zero to Hero. Problem is we covered a lot of networking related concepts, which will be very difficult to understand. What exactly is AWS or Azure or GCP? They are kind of providers where EKS is one service that is offered by AWS. If you don't understand what is Kubernetes, or if you don't understand, let's say you're working on Azure and you start with AKS, if you don't have the Kubernetes fundamentals, you will never understand the concept of EKS, right? Let's say CI/CD. If you don't understand what exactly is CI/CD, what's the point of starting with a cloud platform and learning about code build or code pipeline on AWS? Or what is the point of learning Azure DevOps? It will not help you much. So start with the DevOps fundamentals, which we have covered in DevOps Zero to Hero. Then go with the cloud platform. In your case, if you want to learn Azure, that's fine. But start with DevOps Zero to Hero, then learn Azure. I hope I have answered your question. Then there is one more. Heath. Okay, thanks again, Heath, for contributing to the channel. The question that Heath has is, with 3 months with 3 months for BSc IT, interested in cloud computing, confused about starting with DevOps or cloud engineering for freshers experience. Okay, I've just explained. There is nothing like DevOps engineer versus cloud engineer. Some companies call it as cloud engineer, some companies call it as DevOps engineers. Overall, you can consider cloud is part of the DevOps umbrella. Most of the companies these days have their infrastructure on the public cloud, that is AWS, Azure, GCP, DigitalOcean, these kind of platforms. Very less companies, probably the banking ones, financial sector ones, maybe telecommunications, these kind of companies, they have their infrastructure still on the on premises. There they don't have concept of cloud, they have concept of private cloud, which is called as on premises. So in such companies there is strictly nothing called public cloud. But apart from that, most of the companies these days are looking at public clouds like AWS, Azure. So don't think that DevOps and cloud engineer is different. Cloud is just one part of the DevOps umbrella. So just learn DevOps. And for you, BSc IT, 3 months to go. Yeah, you should be starting right now. So just follow the channel, and I am expecting within 3 months you will complete the DevOps course that we have, and you will be able to start your DevOps journey. Automation, thank you so much. Let's see if we have any more questions in the chat box. What's the difference between DevOps and MLOps? Okay, MLOps is basically with respect to, like, you must be hearing about AI ops, MLOps. Basically, with the advancement of AI and ML, when you try to perform operations on the AI and ML pipelines, or the products related to that, or the AI and ML technology, then you are said to be doing AI ops and ML ops. If I get time, I'll try to make a video to explain the AIOps or MLOps workflow. Probably that time you will understand it much better. Oh, okay. From where can I start learning DevOps? You are already on the channel. Just go to my playlist and you should understand. Why are all companies asking for DevOps and cloud for ML engineering role? What does that mean? For freshers as well. I don't understand difference between cloud engineer, ML engineer, DevOps versus data engineer. They're totally different, right? There is nothing common in data engineer, ML engineer, and cloud engineer, right? DevOps and cloud I've just explained, so I don't want to repeat that. ML engineer, data engineer are totally different, right? So it's not required to understand or have good experience on DevOps if you want to become a data engineer. Okay, there is one question from Hesh. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Hesh asks 13 years experience as performance testing and monitoring Dynatrace. No planning to shift to SRE. Please guide. And when can we expect Golang series? Okay, so there are two different questions. Let me answer that. 13 years experience as performance testing and monitoring Dynatrace. No planning to shift to SRE. You are thinking right because you have experience with monitoring. SRE will be very good option for you. So in that way, I would say that yeah, you are thinking in the right space. As an SRE, the roadmap that I would suggest you is, first of all, along with monitoring, you should have some programming knowledge thing. I think that's why you're asking about Golang series. I'll talk about that. But along with monitoring, because you are working from last 13 years as performance and monitoring, so I hope you will have good experience with respect to monitoring. Just try to also take a look at Prometheus Grafana, right? If you have not worked on these kind of monitoring tools, also take a look at that. Then, as SRE engineer, you should also understand that you will work with production critical items. So learn about high availability, scalability. You should also be very familiar with the concepts like SLA, SLO, SLI, right? Also, as SRE, one of the main things is to understand that your application, or as an SRE engineer, your goal or your role says application should not be down, or you should stick to the SLA. So what can you do for your application to be available most of the times, and that too in a reliable way? So I will suggest you the Google SRE books. So Google SRE books are available. If you want to read the PDFs, they are available for free. There are 3 Google SRE books. You can also buy it on Amazon and other places. So that will be a good start for you. Along with monitoring, you can add the programming knowledge. Golang is the best one if you're thinking about it. Then learn about these terminologies, learn about error budgeting, right? Now talking about the Golang series, like I told you before also on the channel, first of all, I'm trying to cover the must-haves on this channel. Good to have things like Golang. As a DevOps and cloud engineer, Golang fits in the good to have one. Shell scripting is mandatory. Python is the next one. Then Golang. If you want to become an open source contributor, or if you want to become a SRE engineer, right? Or you want to contribute to your company by writing Kubernetes controllers. So for these kind of things, Golang is important. Other than that, Golang pretty much fits into the good to have category for a DevOps engineer. Right now, if you give an interview, if you have Golang knowledge, they might appreciate that, but they will definitely not say that Golang is mandatory for our company, right? As a DevOps and cloud engineer. So first of all, I will focus on completing the must-have ones. We did everything with respect to DevOps and AWS. Now I'm targeting Azure. Probably after that, I'll slowly move towards the good-to-have ones, where Golang is my top priority, and I'll cover Golang for sure. I did one introductory session on Golang where I've explained why and how DevOps engineers use Golang. If you haven't watched that, please watch that. And yeah, I can suggest some materials because you have asked for it. Go by examples is the best place to start Go language. So go hyphen by hyphen examples. So this is a website and you can learn Go very easily using that Go by examples, and you can practice Go on the Go playground. So that's a very good start option. Gagandeep Singh, thank you so much. Any more questions? Let's see. Are DevOps engineers responsible for managing APIs in an organization? What does managing API mean? Sorry, I did not get the question completely. Difference between DevOps and SRE. Just understand that DevOps engineers, I mean, if I have to explain in layman terminology, DevOps engineers are responsible for shipping the application to the production in less time. This is layman terminology. Let's say the code is on my laptop. As a DevOps engineer, you will do whatever is possible for you to get this code in the laptop or the GitHub repository to the production site by reducing the operations effort. For example, you can integrate the automation testing pipelines, you can integrate the security ones, or you can deploy the applications on the Kubernetes, right? Other way around, you can also create infrastructure that is required for the CI/CD pipelines, or infrastructure required for Kubernetes, deploy multiple packages using Ansible. This is all DevOps. Now, SRE comes one step after that. Once your application is on the production, SRE's main role comes into picture. How will you keep this application available 24 by 7? Of course, nobody, like if you're talking about a startup or if you're talking about not so established company, running the application 24 by 7 becomes difficult because there will be outages, there will be performance issues. So there is something called SLA, right? SLA is an agreement that you make with your customers. And in that SLA, you will have some SLOs and SLIs, service level objectives. So as a SRE engineer, your primary role would be, in the SLA agreement, you have committed some service level objectives with your customer. You will try to keep your application as per that service level objectives. One service level objective, I can give an example, is, let's say I'm working for Amazon as a SRE engineer, or YouTube for, SRE engineer for YouTube. Now, one SLO that I would commit to my customer is that I'll make sure that YouTube is available 99.9% of time. And for 1 million API requests, or I can just say that even if someone sends 1 million API requests parallelly, the YouTube application would not behave abnormal. That I can say the response time, if you send an API request, the response time for 99.9% of the requests is within the committed time. Probably 0.01 times response might not be within the committed time. So such things I can agree with my customers, and as an SRE engineer, you will work on those things, right? So you will try to make sure your application is available, reliable, and whatever it takes for that. Probably create some monitoring, create some alerts, which alerts you as an SRE engineer that application is not behaving as expected. Okay, there are few questions. There are a bunch of questions that came in, super chats. So let me try to pick up. One is from Anurup. Hello, sir. I'm currently working on installation and configuration of OpenShift, and how I should continue next. What is your question? I did not get it. I'm sorry. I'm currently working on installation and configuration of OpenShift, and how should I continue next? I hope you are asking about how to use OpenShift, or I don't know. But as far as I understand the question, what I can tell you is, once you install and configure OpenShift, let's say you don't face any issues, you can basically pick up some applications and try to deploy on OpenShift. That way you can learn OpenShift much better as a DevOps and cloud engineer. You can pick up the 3-tier application that we did yesterday and try to deploy that on the OpenShift platform. I explained that on the EKS. Better try to do it on OpenShift. If you are completely new to OpenShift, then rather than picking up the 3-tier application, you can also pick up the day 22 of AWS 02 Hero series. where I deployed a 2048 game application. You can try with that. Okay, automation is back. Automation's question is, I'm working in cloud migration role from past 6 months. Please suggest how can I enhance my career further. Cloud migration is a very good one. At this point of time, you're working on the good thing, but don't just work on that particular thing, because most of the companies are working on cloud migration at this point of time. Probably a couple of years, 3 to 4 years later, you might not see a lot of cloud migration opportunities, because everyone either have moved to public cloud or they're back to the private cloud, wherever the future takes. What you do is, along with the cloud migration, don't just stick to that. You can follow our channel, learn other AWS. Let's say you're migrating to cloud, let's assume. So you can learn things like, as a DevOps engineer, how you can optimize cost, reduce the cost for your company on AWS, which will have a long term future. If you work on such kind of things, companies will recruit you anytime. Then you can learn about security, you can learn about monitoring your cloud platform, you can learn about some projects that I've done in the AWS playlist, like CI/CD pipelines, how to write CI/CD pipelines using the cloud services, how to build infrastructure using cloud formation template or Terraform. So try to expand. Do not just restrict to cloud migration. There is one from Frico Funky. 4 years of gap for UPSC. How to enter mechanical graduate? Okay. Yeah, I can totally understand. First of all, thank you for the super chat. 4 years of career gap for UPSC. I did one podcast recently. Person also has 4 year career gap and also belongs to mechanical engineering background. And what that person has done is, he was lucky enough to get the interview calls very soon. He was in the data science space, but not the DevOps space. What I would suggest is, in 2023 the market was not good for the freshers, so you might not have received a lot of opportunities. You might not have got a lot of calls. I can understand that. Next year, 2024, I'm hoping the market to be better, because new financial year, companies might get uh, companies might start with a new budget, and I'm hoping they will also recruit freshers for internship roles as well. So till that point of time, what's in your hand is try to master more, right? 4 years of career gap for UPSC is genuine, so you can project yourself as a career gap person. You don't have to do that. Let's say you are currently struggling with your financials. One thing that I would also suggest is go for freelancing opportunities, right? Freelancing is very simple these days. 5 years back, freelancing opportunities were very less. Right now, you can go to freelancer, you can go to Upwork, create an account with it, start looking for freelancing opportunities. If you're not good with DevOps till now, what you should do is focus on learning. Don't consider the market, because you don't have anything to do with that. You cannot impact market in any way. You should only wait for the market to be better, and let's hope market becomes better very soon. Till that point of time, if you have no knowledge, try to focus on it. Try to understand all the DevOps cloud concepts, follow the channel, do the projects. Everything is available for free. On the other side, let's say you became confident, you did all the projects that were explained, and you are confident that you can start working in a company. Go for the freelancing website, start creating the accounts, and you can start with very simple projects for less charges on the freelancing website. And that way, once the market is ready, you will also have some freelancing experience. You can show that experience. Perfect. So it's already 50 minutes. I'll be here for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Let's see if there are any interesting questions. Mhm. Okay, let's see. Lot of questions. Okay. Sir, I am 2023 pass out, currently learning AWS DevOps paid course. Have zero knowledge on Python. I saw your is playlist for DevOps interview. Can I get, yes, that Python playlist is good. You can learn everything if you learn everything that is in that Python playlist, you will have good opportunities as DevOps engineers. Even in interviews, if they ask you related to Python, you will be able to answer. Sai Baba. I don't like working in IT. Okay. Java, Python, DevOps, Web3. I'm CS grad. But I like algorithms, math, neuroscience, health. Can you suggest a career path? Okay, interesting. You like algorithms, math, neuroscience, health. What can be the good place for you? If you like algorithms and math, probably you should be looking at something in that space, right? And if you don't like if you are confident that you don't like any of these things, even being a CS grad, then you know you should not be thinking about it, right? Probably you have spent time in the CS field, you have completed your graduation, but it doesn't make sense stretching yourself more if you don't like it at all. Algorithms, math, I think you should explore something in the math and algorithm space. Neuroscience, I'm not sure. Health, also, I'm not that much sure. So I'll try to see if I remember something where you can do something with algorithms and math. I'll definitely try to reply back. Meanwhile, I'll keep thinking while I'm in this live session, and if I remember anything, I'll definitely help you, Sai. So first, I can I first learn AWS or learn DevOps? I've already explained. Please start with DevOps. Oh, okay. Oh, this question has been haunting me for a long time. Hello, Abhishek. For to contribute to open source, is DevOps Zero to Hero course enough? Okay, so I don't know why a lot of people are asking about open source. Uh, Let me answer this very clear. People who are watching it, there are 235 people. If you also have this question, I'll try to elaborate this as much as possible. So please understand that you know open source is a complete different thing. It has nothing to do with DevOps or something. Like you can be a DevOps engineer, full stack engineer. You can be even in the testing field. You can still contribute to open source, right? So by contributing to open source, let's say you are trying for tier 3 company or tier 2 companies. They might not value your open source contributions as much. First of all, try to understand yourself. What is the reason? Why are you thinking about open source? Like I was thinking about open source 5 years back because I was very passionate about it, right? I felt that okay, even if I don't get opportunities in the future, I'm still okay. I'll still continue to contribute to open source. That's where I started my journey 5 years back in open source, where I've contributed to the Kubernetes ingress controller called FI Kubernetes ingress controller. Now in Red Hat, I'm contributing to the Argo project and other Red Hat open source projects, right? So if you want to contribute to open source, be very passionate about it. Don't think about opportunities because you have contributed to open source, right? Understand it very carefully. So there are very few companies that value open source so much, like Red Hat might be one, Codefresh might be one, or there's also Intuit that there are few companies like Rancher. Just by contributing to open source, don't assume that companies will look for you. There are less number of companies who look for you if you have open source contributions. So only do it if you are passionate about it, right? Don't think of something will happen to you in the future, so I am contributing to open source. I hope you got it. And to start with open source contributions as a DevOps engineer, no, DevOps Zero to Hero course will not be enough. First of all, you need to select a project where you want to contribute. Like for example, if you want to contribute to Kubernetes, become a Kubernetes expert. If you want to contribute to Argo, first of all, you should understand what is Argo, use Argo, become some kind of expert with Argo, start joining their contributor meetings, right? Become a member of that particular project. Becoming member might take time, but first of all, start joining their meetings, right? Not just go to the GitHub repository, look at the issues and contribute to it. Then you are pseudo contributor or a part-time contributor. If you want to become a long-term contributor to any project, first of all, identify the project. What is your core strength? Which project can you contribute to? or which project excites you the more. If you are in the DevOps space, go to the CNCF, right? If you go to CNCF, there are 30, 40 projects, bunch of them in sandbox, bunch of them graduated. Pick up a project, Argo, Crossplane, Docker, Kubernetes, Istio. You can pick up any project. And now, instead of just going to that GitHub issues page, first of all, try to understand that project. Go to their meetings. If you go to the GitHub repository, you will find their calendar, right? Once you go to the calendar, start attending the calls. Once you start attending the calls, you will understand the future roadmap of it. In open source, there is something called special interest groups. Try to dedicate yourself to the special interest group, any special interest group of that project. That way, you can become a long-term contributor. You can become a long-term contributor to Kubernetes also. But one is you need dedication. You need to be extremely passionate about it, right? You should also have some coding background. Abhishek, how to learn Red Hat? Why to learn Red Hat? Red Hat is a company. You cannot learn something like Red Hat. If you're asking about the operating system, I did not get this question, but I think if you're asking about the operating system, Red Hat is an enterprise Linux operating system. By learning that, you will understand about the Linux operating system and why to learn. If you want to use Red Hat operating system, then you should learn it. Okay. Okay. So last 5 minutes. Let me see if I have any interesting questions. One thing I noticed that a lot of the people in the DevOps and cloud space are interested in learning, but consistency is the key. There are n number of people who enter into the DevOps market each and every day. That is preparing themselves for DevOps engineering roles. But what I have seen is very less number of people have that consistency. That's where people fail, right? So it's easy to think that I want to become a DevOps and cloud engineer, and it's easy to just subscribe bunch of channels, pay for a course. Even paying for a course doesn't matter, right? You can pay for a course, or you can start with a free YouTube channel and you can start with that particular course. But that's not your dedication. You need to be very consistent every day. Try to make a target for yourself. Try to think of, okay, this is my roadmap in next 2 months or in next 3 months. I want to see myself as a DevOps and cloud engineer, right? When you start thinking in that direction, draw a particular a preparation strategy for yourself. Say that next 5 days I'll prepare Kubernetes, next 5 days I'll prepare Docker. And while preparing, do projects. Interviews have, the pattern of the interviews have changed. Now people don't just ask theory questions. People ask scenario based questions. People ask about your practical experience, your work time experience, real life experience. Now to do that, you should do the projects. On channel, I keep doing the projects, but what I notice is very less number of people do the projects, but more people just watch the basic videos. It's good having foundational knowledge, understanding why what is very important. I also strongly advocate that, and I focus stress a lot on the basics. But after basics, you will succeed only if you do the projects. Example, the three-tier architecture project. A lot of people were asking about the three-tier architecture, but I've noticed that less people have actually implemented that. Or people, like, I think that video was viewed by 15K people or something, 15,000 people, and many people just watched the video. Like, very few people have actually implemented it. Now, when you only implement it by just watching the video, okay, you will understand part of it. But when you sit down, try to implement that project live, then you will learn things that are scenario based. Probably I might have just shown you how to create an EKS cluster. But when you do that, you will run into issues. I might have explained you the Helm chart. I have shown you that. But when you do that, you will run into some issues related to Helm charts. And when interviewers ask you, what are some issues that you faced on day-to-day life, you will answer that questions only if you do these projects, right? So there are more than 40 projects along with the theory videos. So please watch the theory, please watch the practical, and also do the hands-on from your side. Only then you will be able to sustain in this market. See, this needs dedication. I know that practicing things are not easy. Even making videos are not easy. The reason why I'm making these videos, like I told you yesterday's three-tier architecture, almost it took like 5 to 6 hours for me to make that video, prepare the video, edit the video, upload, create the thumbnail, write the description. It took like 5 to 6 hours of time. Now, why did I do that? Because a lot of people were asking about the project, three-tier architecture. A lot of people want to understand, add it to their resume. So that's my dedication and my consistency. Now, if you show that, then if you implement that and if you show that dedication, only then you will become exceptional. You will become an odd man out. When there are 1,000 people, only 10 to 15 people do the practical implementation. If you are in that 10 to 15 people, you will be placed in the DevOps cloud. This space is crowded. A lot of people talk about it. Yes, these days every space is crowded because there are a lot of people coming out of colleges. There is a lot of competition for full stack. There is a lot of competition for AML, DevOps. Now, personally, what I feel is not everyone is your competition. Now, tomorrow, if I want to look out for opportunities, right? Let's say I want to resign the current company and I want to look out for the opportunities. And let's assume in the Indian market, there are 1 million DevOps engineers. No, I'm just saying, let's assume all these 1 million people are not my competition, right? Who are my competition? People who have the same skill set and people who have equal amount of knowledge as me. Only those people I consider as my competition. People who just have basic DevOps knowledge, I don't consider them as my competition because I have been working in this space. Similarly, if you do the projects, your competition will narrow down. Not everyone who is entering into this DevOps cloud space becomes your competition, but only this narrow space who has implemented the projects, who has practical knowledge, who can answer the scenario based interview questions becomes your competition. I think I explained it. Did not want to sound as a motivational speaker, but this is the harsh reality. Let me pick up 2 to 3 more questions and after that we will conclude this live session. Okay, before concluding the live session, just want to say Happy New Year to everyone who has joined this session and to all of our subscribers. I hope 2024 you will have a great time and I will try my best to make very good videos on the channel, practical, theory, scenario based, interview based. I'll also try to add some podcasts. So I'll try my level best and I hope 2024 you will also try your level best to become an exceptional DevOps engineer. How observability is important in DevOps? Any plan for data? So, observability monitoring, these are concepts which fall into the SRE space, but unfortunately, a lot of companies did not, or even till date, they don't have a proper SRE strategy, right? A lot of people still consider SRE engineers as DevOps engineers. People recruit DevOps engineers and they give the SRE task. But in future, this will change. There will be a clear difference between DevOps and SRE engineers. During that time, you will notice that the observability monitoring, all of these things will move towards the SRE engineers and they will focus a lot on it. But if you're asking this question in 2023 December, and if I have to explain that, yes, as a DevOps engineer, you should have idea on the observability and monitoring. In future, this will change. Oh, okay. Sir, I've completed AWS course. Now I've started DevOps course. I'm not able to remember AWS course. While see, if you're not able to remember, basically, like I told you, this is about consistency. Just try to recall the concepts. See, by practically doing things, you will not forget a lot, right? By reading through the concepts, by just going through the documents, if you learn things, yes, you will forget it. But if you keep practicing the things, there is less chance for you to forget things. So try to do the practical hands-on. Two more questions. I have done BSc in PCM. I've taken a DevOps Python course Bangalore. I'm not able to get any job 6 months to do. I want to show my experience. No real time project. Okay, that's okay. You can, like, you can justify your 6 months career gap with a valid reason that you did not get job. That's okay, because it's just 6 months, so it's fine. And to get the real time hands on, I'm repeating this, but that's the only way. Do more and more projects. Like, you might feel that Abhishek is saying the same thing again and again, but that's the only way, right? If you want to get real time hands on, you cannot directly go to a company and work for that. Only thing that you can do is perform some demo projects. As a fresher, how will you get real time experience? You can only get near real time experience by doing some projects. Okay, this is the last question. Bro, I'm working in DevOps role, but I am interested in the management side, like project management or company management side. How to grow early? Okay, I talk from my experience. I just have 10 years of experience, so I haven't seen the management side as much as more experienced people might have seen. But being in the DevOps role, firstly, you can start with infrastructure head or the cloud engineering head role. This is where I've seen my senior management. So try to start thinking from the architecture side. Try to start thinking from the DevOps management role side, rather than just switching as a technical lead. Most of the people try to become a development management lead or development tech lead side of things. But you can also think about infrastructure manager, or you can think about DevOps manager. Try to focus from that point of view. There are a lot of uh, project management certifications these days, right? What I've noticed is, previously project management was different, and now the project management is different. Now in project management, they expect you to do certifications, and second thing, they expect you to have some technical understanding as well. These days, mostly company looks at technical project managers, not the people management side. So for becoming technical management, you already have DevOps experience, so you will fit into that technical manager role. There are some project management certifications. Probably you can look for that. And one more suggestion that I would give is, I am not the expert in this space, so please take second advice from someone who is in the management side, and they might guide you much better. But this is my side of explanation. Okay, one last question, because there are a lot of questions that are coming in. So I'll try to pick up one last question. Shorts kebab. I have 4 years experience in DevOps SRE. I'm planning to pursue an MS in the US. Is my decision correct? Right now, the situation in the US is not that great. So I don't think I'm the right person to comment about if you start pursuing DevOps in the US at this point of time. Probably you might do your MS for the next couple of years. So I don't know how is the US market going to be after 2 years. So sorry, but I cannot answer this question that well, because US market at this point of time is not good. I don't know what is going to happen after 2 years. Okay, so we will conclude our live session with this. I'll try to do live sessions more frequently along with the videos that we are doing, theory, practical, hands-on, podcasts. Along with that, I'll also try to come live more often, and I'll try to interact with you people. I know you people have a lot of questions. So yeah, I'll try to do this live often. Finally, before I close or end this live stream, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in 2023. We have grown a lot in this year. I think beginning of this year, probably in Jan 2023, number of subscribers were at 10,000. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was at 10,000. And today is 31st, and we will conclude this year in couple of hours. And at this point of time, there is 178k subscribers. So we have grown exponentially. I have put the hard work, but along with that, your support was the most important thing. if you were not supporting my content, then I would have definitely not grown. So thank you so much for helping the channel, supporting the channel, always being my back. And I promise you that 2024 I'll do much better than 2023. We will start with the Azure course. We will do a lot of things so that more DevOps aspirants will find this channel as a go-to thing. See you all. Thank you so much for joining the live stream today. Bye bye. Take care, everyone. Happy New Year.